trans community gets today to just be themselves and have some fun. From state-sanctioned discrimination to being scrutinized by strangers while doing everyday tasks like shopping or having dinner. The trans community is under attack like never before, and it's easy to understand why many are so uneasy to relax and show off their bodies at a pool party or a fun park. In this week's SFGN, online now and on stands tomorrow, I look at SunServe's Body Positive Beach Bash, an event encouraging the trans community to have a fun day in a safe space. There's a cookout, the Aqua Challenge, and beats by DJ Jessimix. This is the type of day many of us wouldn't think twice about planning for ourselves, but many in the trans community are self-conscious, worried about what others will think about their scars, their life, and their gender. But Saturday, September 3rd will be a judgment-free zone. I also speak with Misty Eyes, SunServe's Director of Transgender Services. Today, she is a strong, confident community leader. But this event reminds her that many are still struggling, and she shares her early struggles. She told me, quote, "I've had a love-hate relationship with my body, and 20 years ago, it was more hate than love. I forgot how severe that was," end quote. The event is free, but you must register ahead of time at sunserve.org, and they'll send you the location and other details. I encourage you to learn more by reading my story at SFGN online now and on stands tomorrow. And you know, one of the things that strikes me is to keep it a safe space, they can't give out, or they would rather not give out the location until they have verified who's going to attend and who's going to be there, because people will still show up. I can tell you it's a public place. It will be closed. It'll be after hours. But it's a public place. It's a very fun place. It's one of South Florida's, especially Broward County's, jewels to go out and have a nice day, especially on Labor Day weekend. But they have to take that extra step, which I completely understand. But I look forward to when I'm doing this story and I can say where it's going to be.
I love the body positivity of this, event. They had it last year, and I had a friend of mine who went, and she was just so comfortable. She said that she felt in a safe place, and it was the first time that she had introduced her new look and her new body to her friends and family, in a comfortable space, in a safe space. And we say it so easily because everybody at this table pretty much passes. It's not the same for our trans brothers and sisters. So an event like this just means everything.
I'm curious, and I know, obviously, I know who you're referring to, and for you in interviewing Misty in both situations, what is your reaction of your friend that went for the first time last year, and your interview of the event about allies' attendance? What's the reaction of having allies come to this event?
Can I tell you that I offered to go, and my friend has always been very, very direct with me. Okay, I want to be an ally to the trans community, and I don't have all the answers. All right, so I go to her for a lot of the answers, and she lets me make mistakes, Al. And that's why I love her, truly. And I thought I was doing good by saying, hey, I want to go. I want to be a part of it. And she's like, Faye, it's not, I would rather you not. This is a place for people that don't get to do what you always get to do. This is their space, their place.
What do you think about that reaction?
Well, this year, last year, you couldn't have gone. It was only for members of the transgender and GNC community. This year, for the first time in the history of the event, the attendees can bring their partner. So if I were dating a GNC person or a trans person, I could go. So last year you couldn't have gone. And Misty was very proud of that fact, that they're expanding it, that there's going to be more people there, but all allies and all partners, people who have an emotional investment in the community, which I think is really important.
So in this example, if I said, well, I want to support this event and go, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to go.
The appropriateness, I think, is can be debated. And for me, that's a tough word, because I think it would be totally appropriate for us to be
not
there.
The right word.
But I think that just to have the event for people, who want to just be able to really be themselves. Because a lot of people in the trans community I've found, and granted I have a limited sample size, but some of them are even they sort of body shame themselves. They don't want to show off their scars. Or I haven't had as many surgeries as you've had. And so therefore they feel lesser than. And so I think it's just a day where they want to say, we're all together. We all get it. We try and get it. We empathize. Yeah.
But we
but
will
we
never
don't get it.
We will never.
We don't get it.
Yeah.
And this is a day where I think that they really can.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we recognize and not, because I can only relate it to my experience as being Black. When I was in college, we had a Black student union, but there were members of the Black student union who were white who came. And not saying that it's a problem for them to come and understand, but sometimes when you're being an ally, you can take up the space by just being there, by being present.
By just being there.
Because people can't really truly be themselves if there's other people kind of like spectating. And maybe that's what it's like for them at this beach bash if we as advocates and allies attend.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
interesting point.
I have a really bad example, but
I'm gonna say it anyway.
It's not. No, it's only because I don't want to compare my experience with a trans experience. But I had an opportunity to be in a body positive, I guess, section of a magazine called Attitude, where Mega Wolf joined in all shapes and sizes. We were bearers basically on this spread. And we got a lot of flack because my body at the time was more fit than it was round. And I wasn't as bearish as the rest wanted me to be. And so they were like, why would he be on the magazine if he doesn't really look like the rest of us who are really, drowning in this dysmorphia, this body, And so it really hurt me because I thought that I was being, encouraging, when in fact I got a lot of backlash for being a part of this community that I love so much. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what they're going to get from it if there's not a lot of like-minded individuals in there and they're looking around and feeling really emotional about having other people see what they wanted to flaunt fearlessly.
I ask these questions in honesty, not for our viewers, but for myself, because it's very difficult for me to try to understand what this experience is and learn from this experience and move forward in being a better ally and community of this experience, which is the reason why I asked the question. Because at the very heart of this, I've known Misty for a long time. She did the RuPaul cruise with me for years. She was the only person, non-RuPaul, as a RuPaul queen, that I ever allowed to participate in the cruise and perform on the main stage. Misty Eyes was the only person that I ever allowed to do that. So I've known her for a long time. This event, I think, is magical and sad all at one moment, because it's magical that they have this opportunity. It's sad for me that all they want is some time to be able to, whether it's beach or wherever it is, to just come together and just be themselves. And that small victory is a giant victory. And that makes me sad. And it's an indication of how difficult the trans experience is. And then once you understand that, how do you participate in a positive way as ally to support, which is very difficult. I also want to mention that Misty Eyes is so incredibly important. In our community.
I love her.
Not only because of her leadership, but it's a dedication of trying to get it right. She has called me a blithering idiot about 100 times. I'll remind everybody, which probably you do not know, when we launched Queer News Tonight, Misty Eyes was an original permanent anchor at Queer News Tonight with Napoleon Place. And when the three of us did the show, she would tell me over and over again, Al, you were just so incredibly dumb. And I appreciate it. I'm saying publicly with this event, I appreciated that because she brought me along every step of the way. Al, come on, you can't be this ignorant. You can't be. And I started to get a little better. And that is because of Misty Eyes, and I thank her for that. And the last thing that I want to say about this is, I don't know what the right answer is in terms of participating, but the network and Hotspots Magazine is fundamentally committed. I sat in a meeting today with managers of the network and Hotspots Magazine where we talked about how do we move beyond white gay guy in community. Because we've got the white gay guy thing down. Oh, yeah. We're done. We got that. Do you know?
You've seen that movie 1,000 times.
I've seen that movie 1,000 times. And I know I'm at the tip of the sword of that, but it's one of the reasons why you've participated in a Latino takeover. You've participated in a lesbian edition of the show. You've participated in a Black edition of the show. Tomorrow, just totally in happenstance with this story, we have a trans edition of Queer News Tonight. This show tomorrow night will be all trans individuals telling the stories of the day of what's important to the trans community.
Absolutely.
It's a commitment for us, and we're kind of fumbling our way through to try to find better ways to do it. Because if we commit to that, our entire community is stronger. And Misty Eyes in this community is leading us, which we greatly appreciate and thank her for the ability to
And thank you to this network for giving the trans community a space to sit around the table, okay? There will be 5 trans people sitting here. They don't need no help from the rest of us. They got it all taken care of just on their own. And it's going to be a badass show.
Exactly. There's no white guy sitting there going, what do you think about? No. Right. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.